Okay, this question is from Zana. The question is, how do you get the pick from going in between the strings? So I'm interpreting this question as how do you get the pick from getting stuck in between the strings, which is very, very common for people. So the one thing I would say, or I should say, first thing I would say to understand is that if this is the string here, the more I put the pick over the string, and then just simply put the force down, the more the string has to move and give way before it actually gets around the pick. Now, the bigger strings we use, the stronger the string is, the more effort that takes from us. And so, the instant way we can minimize that is to actually put less of the pick. So, we just want to use just the teeniest, tiniest amount of the pick, just enough to sort of have security on the string. Let's dip this down, right? So just enough to have security on the string. I'll try to, let's do something like this. Okay, see, I can feel the pick on the string, but it's not slipping off, right? So just the tiniest amount. If I tend to play like this and I really go in to the guitar, then and I want to feel that security, like feel the actual fingertip touching the string like that, now I'm gonna get really stuck on the string because you could see I'm pushing down and down and down, and all the string is just pinned underneath the pick like that, and it's got all of this to move around. So the best thing to do, and what a lot of people do, is they'll tend to compensate by going out, but then your sound is very weak, right? And if you're on the inside strings, it makes it even a bit more difficult. What we want is to go through the string. We do that by just using a little bit of the pick, right? So that's for single notes, right? If I'm picking single notes or single strings, anything of that nature, just a little bit of the pick to push down like that, and then the string actually moves around the outside of the pick, since only a little bit of the pick is on the string. So, but I will note that I do not feel any string contact right here. So if you feel string contact right there, you're generally too close. Today I'm using a very tiny pick as compared to a larger size pick, okay? So if I use sort of something like this, which is more normal size, there's a lot more plastic of the pick that can go over the string, and you can see now it's really stuck. So when I use a pick like this, which I'm not really using much anymore, I have to back out even a little bit more, or even angle it a little bit as it happens. So the smaller pick actually adds for a bit more precision that way. Now that's for single notes. Now for strumming, what happens is, especially as we're moving through the strings, right? If I keep level like this and allow the strings to move out of the way, then what happens is I get basically the sweeping technique. The idea is sort of equal volume on each string. So that's good when I have the left hand involved in that. I get through the notes, right? I get through the notes, but that is the technique for that, right? For strumming, let's say just on these open strings even, just getting a nice sound, a light sound, goes such a long way when it comes to developing the technique. And what we do is, in my last video, I talked about the perpendicular aspect of the point of the pick to the finger. So you can see I'm strumming and it's a little less perpendicular. I just have the finger out a little so slightly, and that allows the give to happen in the pick. Now the pick is very thick. It's a Jazz 3 Max Grip Carbon. It's a very stiff pick. It doesn't have any give to it really. So the give is in sort of how it's positioned in the finger. Or in the fingers. So what I do is, as I get to the strings, I allow a little compensation. So I allow a bit of rotation in the forearm. In this case, the motion is called supination. So I allow some supination to happen like this, right? So it goes on, the pick gets a little flatter, and now I basically slide down the strings. I'll sort of show you like this. I slide down the strings that way. You see, it's a very nice sound for the pick to be flat like that. Okay? So what I do is I take that flat motion, like so. And then on the up, what I want to do is I don't go a full version and just sort of invert it. You could do that if you want, you know, you want to hear all 6 strings, but generally when we strum, we'll only catch, you know, a few of the open strings, really, or of the top strings. We really only need 2 or 3 of them, because what we want is this sort of alternation of strong beats and weak beats, and strong hits and weak hits as we're strumming, and it gives us a metric accent as we're. And what's nice about this is, you know, I'm keeping my distance as well, so again, I'm not locking in. You can see the float from the strings in the hand. I'm not planting anything down. And then if I want to go to single string playing, I have the note right there, you know? Just a little nice E major thing. So that's what I would be considering, is I'd be looking at, okay, when I pick a single string, how much is the string moving before it's released, right? If it's a lot like I just did, it's too much pick. So I've got to get the pick a little further away, and I've got to not allow myself to anchor by the bridge. Is what a lot of people tend to do, is they'll anchor themselves because they have too much range of motion. That's what happens when we move with the elbow. We open up the elbow. So we don't want to be opening up the elbow. We actually sort of want to lock the elbow a bit and use a little bit. But mostly we use rotation in the strumming context to get through the strings. Moving the elbow, you can see if I go to hit, say, the 6th string like that, and I just move it from the elbow, you see how I'm already underneath the 5th string just from that? And I tried to move a very small amount. It's just a very large range of motion. It's very difficult to control in a small alternated area. So with that, we'll get more precision from using a smaller motion up closer to the hand. So even if I'm rotating like that, instead of the picking with the wrist, the shaking hands without moving the elbow kind of thing, instead of that, so if I get a couple strings like this, let's say a nice G chord or something, slow it down. You see the rotation is involved. And I'll use the same thing sort of in like raking of a chord. So if here I'm holding a B flat minor, so if I'm going kind of like sweeping in a way, but sweeping, I'm gonna want more of the definition in the string like that. So I'm gonna want more a more percussive sound, but this is going to be more about a relaxed ease. So to start, go very slow and very nicely. The goal is to make a nice sound, not just any sound. So, and then same on the up. And on the up, just work on the rotation a bit so you get a few of the strings like that. So it doesn't have to be this, and again, right now you see my elbow opening and closing. That creates a very large range of motion. So if we're trying to get a bit fast with the strumming, or we're trying to do like some timekeeping and different rhythms, you see the rotation ends up becoming the thing that allows me to keep sort of grabbing the first string on the ups like that, or on my downs, grabbing the bass notes so that the bass note sustains like a separate voice, and then my other voices get strummed like that.